everyone, I'm Gaston.
And I'm Frank.
And we brought hot sauce back. Am I pointing up or down? I don't know where I am.
You should point the same
sideways.
Other way. Yeah.
This way.
Yeah, that way.
We brought hot sauce back.
Yeah. I'm
Carla, say hello.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And we're starting back at Season 2. The NALCS starts tomorrow. The EULCS and LCK started already, right?
LCK started a few days ago, and it's great.
Yeah. I'm not actually insane. And, we wanted to boot it back up. We want to talk to you about what's happening in esports. We want to bring us right back in the beginning. We're excited to be back. But before we get into anything, Frank, you're an esports writer, right?
For the moment.
Yeah, eye roll. And the eye roll is what we need to talk about before we dive into anything else.
Hashtag esports journalism.
I want to pose a question to the two of you and to anyone out there who's listening and or watching to join in on this conversation, which is, how relevant is esports actually, ? As an industry, as a profession, and as an entertainment source?
I realize when we were talking about this in the pre-show, I was like, oh man, this will be a really quick discussion. But then I'm like, wait, no, that's actually a really fucking loaded question.
I think it is a loaded question. And just to give our viewers some context as to where this is coming from, and I know I just briefed you guys in the pre-show, so sorry for having to listen to it again. But I've been hearing a lot, especially now that 2017's around, and people keep talking about the bubble that esports is about to burst through, and Riot selling the streaming rights, and all these big names, and sports actually joining the scene.
The Big Ten Network.
The Big Ten Network. The question that esports is about to explode, right? The question that esports is about to be huge. But there's people that have been around for a long time that are nervous about that, and that feel jaded by the industry. They feel like they're working with a bunch of man-children, and that they're making content about 16-year-olds playing video games, and they kind of downplay that. They're like, oh yeah, we're just watching 5 kids on a computer. And there's this kind of negative stigma that exists within the community about it.
I wouldn't say within the community, I would say within industry people.
Yeah, but I mean, it exists outside, right? Like outside the stigma already exists. I think that people that don't know what esports is, when you explain to them for the first time, kind of roll their eyes.
Yeah, they're like, "What? Really?" Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And it kind of surprised me to see it within people that have been around.
It's really hard to explain what I do at airports. Like, you get a lot of. Wait, you do what again?
Try explaining what we do on a date.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh God, that's it's lucky because most of the people I see now just actually know what it is or have heard of League of Legends or Riot or Blizzard. But sometimes it's like, that's cool, I guess.
Well, I think the thing is, I don't have the same perspective that you guys have or insight because you're actually in the industry.
I'm not claiming these are my words, by the way.
No. Yeah, I know. But you have perspective, right? You have insight.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't so much, but I think that in my experience trying to explain what we do, our interest, what our passion is to people that aren't involved with it, it's become a lot more accepted than I ever thought it would be. So I think that there's still more room to grow. So anyways, I just sort of wanted to mention that before you guys dive into the point that you were about to make.
I
I don't necessarily have a point.
I have a
point.
point.
You're raising questions.
I have a point.
Frank was about to go.
Talk to me about your.
So the first thing, esports is very relevant. Even though it's making negative money right now, it probably will make money soon. And even though it might not be making money now, so many people have put so much money into it that, of course, it's significant. Of course, it matters. It matters to a lot of people whether 10 years from now it'll exist or not, which I personally think it will. So, yes, esports matters, for sure. Now...
But wait, I'm going to challenge that.
You're going to challenge that it matters when people are investing millions of dollars?
You're equating money with worth.
Yeah, right? I am. That's money has monetary value, friend.
I don't know if I'd follow. That's actually good.
I think theater matters, right? For example, to compare it to my background in terms of affecting a community.
So you're saying Hamilton has more impact than the NALCS?
Religiously, right? Not because it's making money, right? That's like saying a big budget Hollywood movie matters because it topped.
So you're talking about impact, not material worth.
No, I'm talking about actual value. That's the question.
Define actual value, because if you're saying like, will this actually have impact on a human? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I'm saying, is esports something worth investing your time into, other than feeding into the craze of horny 16-year-olds at their computers?
I mean, a lot of people like watching it, and it affects them in that way. Do I think that the contribution of League Champions Korea is going to have as much of a social impact as Hamilton or, I don't know, any like?
That's a little extreme. So
I'm just saying, like, I'm making an extreme to make a point. Like, obviously, no, but do I think that it has more value than the real Stepwives of New Jersey? I think yes would be my answer to that. So
let's think about it this way. So, I mean, I think what we're talking about now is a little different than Gaston's original point. But look, yeah, right now it's a bunch of 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds and like early 20-year-old kids playing the game.
Yeah, old man Lemonation at 26.
Yeah, but to me, like, it's not something that can fade away or die. Like, you know, like when you play sports, right? So let's think about it in terms of, you know, an analogy with sports.
Mm-hmm.
When you stop playing sports, right, in high school, college, rec leagues, whatever, you don't stop watching the sport, right? You just transition or you stop playing it, but you don't stop watching it. And so I think that that's where the value and the impact can really change. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is that it's not a market, in my mind, that's going to go away. It's only going to keep getting bigger. And it's going to... The face is always going to change. So what's going to happen in the next few years is the people that are playing now, they might not be playing as much,
Mm-hmm.
but I bet they're still going to be watching and following it, and they'll just become more casual and they'll play once a week.
That's where I think the value is too, because there's people like me who I haven't wanted to play League of Legends that much lately, but I still watch it. I still enjoy watching the game, and I still enjoy watching pro play. Like, I don't play basketball very often anymore, but I still watch the NBA. So, like, I think that it will bring me joy as long as it exists. I don't know if that's what you were going for, Gaston, but...
No, I mean, I'm not going for
anything, right? I have a more interesting point about journalism, which is what we were talking about before.
Go to that point. We're on tight schedule. What are you talking about?
I don't think esports journalism, for the most part, at least... So I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to clarify it. I don't think esports journalism matters very much. And by that I mean there are a lot of articles that provide like face value, but for the most part you could read them once and then be done with them and literally never remember them. Like, I cannot remember the last esports article I read. I can remember the last esports article I read that actually mattered to me, which was about Flash versus Jaedong and Brood War again. That was really cool. But like, there's so much data that just becomes irrelevant immediately. Like, all these report cards about people like doing well in the off season, like, yeah, that's like kind of temporary entertainment, but almost no one reads stuff like that. It's just, it doesn't get a lot of views. When I was working at LoL Esports, the only things that really pulled in views, like written content wise, were the super controversial stuff I wrote, or power rankings, or every once in a while there would be like a feature that really resonated with people, like the Chowie piece that I think Nelson wrote like last year, or like the article I wrote on High retiring the first time. Other than that, like, you're just like, the only way you get people to look at stuff is clickbaiting. So like, when I know, Carlos, you've made this point before, or maybe it was Gaston, it's like there are so many esports writers and esports journalists out there that are competing for very few people who actually have eyeballs, especially in League of Legends, where people just sit on Reddit and they'll only see something if it's on Reddit. And in that way, like, I think my work matters very little, because unless I am actually baiting people to read it, it's very hard to have something truly meaningful to say that's actually going to have lasting impact. So
yeah,
there's my spiel.
And I kind of agree with that. And so just to sort of tie into well, actually, I'll get to Gaston's question later. But to me, what I was always frustrated about, and like what I really pushed you, and I think that, you know, you were trying to like step up, is the journalists or whatever, they're writing what they want to write. And is that really, and so like, first of all, are they really journalists, or are they just like, are they just sports writers, first of all, right? But second of all,
yeah, that's a good distinction.
Is that really how you want to like, resonate with the community? Or would you rather, would it resonate more if you wrote something that you think people would want to read?
Right.
And so that's why I always, and so this ties into like what I think Gaston was talking about, insofar as we just need to start thinking about, or not we, but like people in the industry, instead of just making content and just like churning stuff out and like whatever, yeah, these are 16-year-old man-child, they're whatever, or just children. What would be interesting to watch? What would be interesting to write about? What would be interesting to read?
Yeah.
Like that's what we need to be thinking about, instead of just like churning out, okay, we were given a bunch of money, so we just have to like put a camera on this person for 10 minutes and then put epic music in the background. Like, what is the story that would resonate with someone?
So I actually have a follow-up
wait,
question.
I want to tap into this.
All right,
I want to
ahead.
raise a point that I know I talked to you about.
I'm going to write something down so I don't forget it, but yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah, put up like a little hand up, like when we recorded on Napster or whatever the fuck that program was. I think one of the big problems is that the mission statement of esports, the unspoken mission statement, is right now to eventually rise to the level of traditional sports, right?
Yeah.
We've talked
That's usually what people want.
That's not going to happen, right? Like, I don't.
It's not going to happen ever. No sports.
No, I don't think
you don't
so.
think it's going to be bigger than any sport?
I think it'll be different. I think esports more closely resonates a film or like a TV show than it resembles like basketball. Because if you think about it, League of Legends, we all love it, we all play it. I don't know if it's going to last 12 seasons. You know what I mean?
I mean, NBA's been around for like 100
totally
years.
Right. And to really
12
touch on that,
12 seasons is the length of Friends. You know what I mean? Like, 12 seasons is the length of a TV show.
That's exactly right. And really to even get further on that, and I guess this is really to emphasize a point I made earlier. A lot of what the mission statement, as you put it, I think is really well said, is like this sort of unspoken insecurity and like really desire to validate and legitimize yourself. And I'm not talking about any of us here, but like the writers, right? So it's like, well, how do I legitimize myself? I just like churn out a bunch of data and spit it in your face, like, regurgitate it in your face. And that's just not interesting. I would challenge somewhat that esports won't rise to the level of sports. It's just, I think it'll do it in a different way. I think that it can do it in a different way. So like, like when we think about poker, right? Like 15, 16 years ago and what happened there. I mean, I think that that's something that esports can become and, just resonate and really have like more of a.
No, though, because like poker has a longevity that like actual video games don't. You know what I mean? Like,
right. But are we talking about but hold on. Are we talking about a video game, or are we talking about esports in general?
Because I think a singular game will not last as long as poker, but the industry as a whole will.
But I'm suggesting is that I think the industry should start responding to individual titles in the way that entertainment and Hollywood responds to individual
shows. So I have a follow-up, like about.
I'm not saying it should emulate it. I'm saying like closer to the way that ESPN responds to soccer and basketball and fucking
that makes sense.
So Carlos, you were talking about mission statements. Did you guys actually like Duos and Drive, for instance?
You'll have to remind me. I've seen so much Esports content. You have to remind me which one's which.
They just prove my point. But Carlos, do you remember Duos and Drive or no?
A little bit. I remember Drive. I don't know if I ever really watched Duos, to be honest.
Like Ganked by Mom and like.
Yeah, I didn't watch that crap.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what you.
I watched.
I don't know what it is.
So okay.
I watched Drive.
So all right. So that like kind of proving my point is like you kind of remember it. I mean, it did resonate with some people.
Me not remembering proved the point. I love it.
But so do you remember last year when we had Emily on this show and she wrote?
Was it last year?
It was, and she wrote this amazing article where she was talking about how in lane swapping, you actually had more action statistically, and that was an article that had impact because it challenged people on their predisposed belief that they thought lane swaps were boring and awful for the game, and while you can maybe debate the validity of this, she statistically proved that kills happen in most leagues faster and more often than in leagues where they didn't happen. And so that actually had impact because it was challenging something that already exists, and it wasn't just spitting out data for the purpose of putting out data. It was putting out data to actually cause some effect on the scene to make people stop hating on lane swapping. And I
would actually challenge that, but
I mean, you can like I said, you can challenge the article.
Force a reaction,
right?
I think that's
so
what Frank's
those are the types of articles that I think have meaning, and I'll just stick to the same types of articles. I'll just stick with Emily and Kelsey because I mean they know that I love them, but I just don't think that when Emily was routing every single jungler's path in I don't know, it was I think in China or something. It's kind of interesting. But almost no one is going to understand that, and no one is going to remember it. And that's the kind of data that the teams would want. The teams would want the data on their enemy junglers. But am I, as a viewer, really going to get that much out of knowing what Spirit's jungle path is on most games? That's not really going to inform me that much on what's going on in a current game.
Compare the content that you're talking about, what the score and Yahoo Esports is churning out, and compare that to what streamers are now doing, the hot trend right now that every streamer on YouTube has every day they upload a 10-minute highlight reel, right? Of double lift plays Caitlyn, Valkyrin 80 carries Vigar, you know what I mean? Singed 420 does Singed 420 bullshit, you know what I mean? All these streamers are churning out 10-minute content, and those generate anywhere between 50 to 750,000 views per day, you know, and that gets much more of an impact in the community than Emily Rand's articles, probably
and that's
will
not,
in
that's not even just a league problem, and it's even exacerbated in other games. Streamers get more views than tournaments do sometimes, which is kind of insane.
Right. But that's touching at actually an issue that I was going to respond to in response to Frank's question about Drive and whatever the other thing is. The videos that you're talking about, Gaston, they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
I want to watch a video and laugh. It's a video game. It's fucking fun.
Yeah.
It's a video game. It's fun. Have fun. Holy shit. And then you watch these docs or whatever,
CS and per minute.
But it's to be fair to some of the filmmakers, it's a two-way street. So first of all, no one wants to watch something that's super serious. Let's just be real. And second of all,
you know what? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you have to find interesting people.
You didn't like Loco Doco and Dardock fighting for an hour and a half? I thought that was great television.
No, I like that.
Well, that was.
I love that.
We liked it for 5 minutes, and then nobody wanted to watch the other an hour 25.
Well, it was super cringe, but
it was just awkward.
it was good for the trailer. The trailer was oh, this is gonna be cool. You know what I mean? But I think what Carlos and I are talking about is, and it goes back to my parallel of comparing esports to entertainment. You know what I mean? As opposed to,
for sure.
As opposed to goals per minute or whatever.
That's fine.
People want to watch I don't know, Teemo 80 carry double lift for a 10-minute video.
So that's why I say I think there is a place for statistical articles, but it should be to inform uninformed opinion specifically. If someone is if someone was just shitting on double lift and saying double lift's the worst AD carry in the league, they're well, actually he has the highest CS per minute and he gets kills at this point, and here are some really cool plays that he's done. I actually think that stuff like that matters because it's done for a specific purpose to cause an impact, as opposed to just writing an article because you were I want to write an article, and it's yeah, you can do that, but does that really belong on ESPN or Yahoo? Put it on Medium or something, or put it on this stuff is so
don't
niche.
Get me wrong. I
want
to preface all this conversation. I guess it's not really prefacing because we've had most of the conversation. But like, I read the score. You know what I mean? Like, not every day,
I read the score. I read Yahoo. I read ESPN too. But
yeah, like we consume this content. We're not like hating on it.
I consume
like,
some of
right?
it. I don't click on stats articles.
Yeah, I don't click on all of them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I like reading story articles.
To, like, know what's up. The way that I do with the New York Times. Look, it's the same way I consume my normal news. I read headlines. So there is room for this, but I'm asking about like moving forward. Like, is esports better off evolving as this like entertainment hub, right? Or is it better off evolving as like an actual like, let's create a history and a legacy surrounding, I don't know.
So, like, I do think that there's room for both a little bit. I think League should have a Hall of Fame eventually, but I don't think we should be dwelling so much on, like, the nitty-gritty of every single game. Like, leave that to the teams.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I think, to Gaston's point, I mean, I think that Gaston and I are really touching on a lot of the same points. I think that there's even a way to present information in an entertaining way. And I think that's maybe what I was talking about more with insecurity and like this this yearning for legitimacy. Yeah.
Which is the original question, right? Is there value here?
Yeah. What you can like, I can say, yeah, this person is good because X, Y, Z, or I can say, hey, this guy kicks fucking ass, and let me tell you why. And then I mean, to me, it could be even as simple as adding some adjectives and adverbs, and like that just makes it more entertaining and it brings life to an article. So I guess I think that there is room for both, and to me, that would be if I were someone that wanted to like, really make some headway in the industry, I would really be looking in that direction, like more entertainment oriented, like you're talking about, Gaston.
We should title this episode, "What the fuck is esports?" Question mark.
All right. Are we ready to talk about North America now?
Wait, no. I want to ask one more question.
All right.
Coming up, because I'm working right now. I'm gonna spoil this for everybody out there who's listening on like a pilot documentary thing for like Goldcoin NA Challenger. You know what I mean? They're having a pilot, you guys. I spoiled it. But anyway, and I'm working close hand with the players, and the question of players' careers are coming up. And I said this to Frank the other day, and Frank was just kind of like, I don't know about that.
I actually disagree with you on this, so yeah.
Okay,
let's hear it.
Let's talk about it. It's just the role of players in esports and the way that organizations should treat and care for them afterwards. Because when we talk about stability, which is like a big hot topic of 2016 in terms of esports, people always bring up player salary and like player longevity and the question of like, after the player is done, after they retire, what do they do? And my response to all that, which Frank disagrees with.
No. I agree with this part. It's something. Keep going.
My point is that, I'm looking at esports as entertainment. I'm likening a lot of the ways to players to the way that I would liken like an actor to a TV show. I don't think Riot or Blizzard or any game maker is actually indebted to the players to promise them a career in anything else afterwards. I think there's an opportunity cost of being a professional gamer that comes with its own set of rewards that you have to willingly take when you're 16, the same way that somebody would when they're applying to UCLA or Cal State Long Beach. You know what I mean? And I think if you want to commit 5 years of your life to doing this, then afterwards you have to walk away with your $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever it may be, and then you go off on your own and figure it out. I think this concept that players need to be babied into like you saying, it's true. Like I feel like the concept of people
hang on
into putting them in a path for something else like that.
Hang on. Okay.
I don't know why that exists.
So I agree with you. So this is where I agree and disagree. I agree the developers should not be hand-giving ex-pro players jobs. I don't think, for example, I'm just going to say it, I don't think that Kiwi Kid should have been hired by Riot Games. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He had a notoriously bad work ethic on his team. I'm sorry. I'm just putting that out there. But there are pro players that could get hired by Riot Games and that have done good jobs.
I'm not saying they shouldn't.
So right? the other part. So I agree with you that it is not developers' responsibilities to give pro gamers careers, and I definitely agree with that. But I think that there is a responsibility, and I don't know who should have this responsibility, but it needs to be someone's responsibility to actually show these kids how to live life after being a pro gamer, because as we're talking about, these are 16 to 21.
What job
There's
ever
six.
taught you to
No, hang on. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
When did you ever go to college and there was a class that says this is how you cook chicken? Guess what?
That doesn't exist. I'm not talking about that stuff. These people, they're dropping out of high school with no social skills. They're autistic man children who don't know anything about anything.
Kids do that to go
I know.
play hockey.
So I said
abnormal.
It's someone's responsibility, whether it's their parents, whether it's their agent, whether it's their manager, whether it's their team owner. It's not the developers necessarily, though. I'm glad they're doing it. But someone has to, because otherwise they won't, and we're just going to have like a generation of bum pro gamers who aren't any good anymore.
How many people in my age group don't know how to fucking cook pasta?
I mean, I know someone who didn't know how to use a dishwasher till they were 25 years old. So
that's part of the millennial problem of BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
But it's even worse for pro gamers, because not only that, they didn't go to college. Some didn't finish high school. Like,
it's not worse. They have
actually
$300,000 in the bank.
So you think No, they don't have that much money though. It doesn't pay that well.
No. Hold
I
on,
make more money than a lot of pro gamers.
This is actually a bigger conversation in esports, like Gaston mentioned. I mean,
I know
this is a generational issue. So like, I just don't understand like what the relevance is, who owes what. I mean, that's just the nature.
You guys, I don't know if you guys have been at a team house, but it's even
all the time in esports stability.
Gaston, our magic chat, there's a lot of like very not well socially adjusted people, myself included. Team houses, it's worse. It's way worse. These kids don't know anything. They've never voted in their lives.
I don't understand. Like, what are you saying?
I don't understand what you're saying. Like,
I'm saying that it is someone's responsibility. I'm not saying that it's any one person's.
Professionalism in the game house. Maybe that's the mandate that needs to
Someone needs to.
They
need to be educated. They just. They can't just only.
Someone from the military to like go in there and.
They can't only just play games. They need to learn skills, life skills, social skills. They can't just play games.
But you do learn life skills.
But they don't. They're not. They're not learning life skills.
Well, they should. You know,
yes, they should, but they're not.
In a team, you should learn how to communicate. You should learn how to organize. You should learn how to execute.
Make an egg.
You know what I mean? Like, these are things that you do in a manager position at a bank, and these are things that you do in an entry-level position in finance. You know what I mean? Like, these are life skills. I think.
Yeah, this is a very strange conversation.
No, what I'm getting at, it is strange, but because, like, especially in Korea, these guys, they play all day. People cook for them. People clean for them. And they do this for like 4 or 5 years, and then it's like, well, what do I do now? I mean, yes, that's a problem in other industries.
You also just described a frat house in college.
It is a frat house. Yes, that's a
place.
great analogy. But at least in frat house, they're going to class sometimes.
They're just drinking beer and graduating 4 years later with their.
I mean, you went to UCLA. I'm sure you did plenty of drinking, and I went to Ohio State. But I still, came out with something on the other side. Whereas these guys aren't even. They're not learning anything.
I don't know what you think. Like, I don't know what you think these like NCAA athletes do. Like the ones that don't make it to pros.
I mean.
I know nobody's talking about the basketball kid from University of Oregon that's not going to the NBA.
That's fine. I know someone who got 100 on the Wonderlic test, and he's not that smart. So, I mean, the people that don't do well on it.
We should move on.
I know. We're going.
I know. I'm hearing that constantly, like the concept that pro gamers should be babied into a career further on.
So the other half of it. The other half of it is they've been taken advantage of for so long.
Figure it out. Look at Double Live. He fucking retired. He's not coming back. He said he is, and now he's like the most successful.
He's not coming back. Are you saying Double Lift is not coming back?
No, he's not coming back. Are you kidding? Do you think he's coming back?
No, Save the tape. Save the tape.
It's no way. Like, he's making way more money streaming, I'm sure, that he ever did.
Sneaky makes tons of money. He's still playing, and he has the best. Sneaky's still playing, and he streams. He has the best stream on Twitch.
Well, that's because he's not a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
speaking of bitches, let's talk about the NALCS.
Yeah.
Speaking of bitches, NALCS. Whoa. Okay. We're gonna put a link in the episode if you only want to see our NALCS. This is where it starts. You made it. You survived our weird conversation. But anyway, hopefully in there we found value in terms. Look, I think if anything, we didn't come with an answer, but we definitely have passion, and I saw that from everybody.
Yeah.
So I think that's something
There's
worth
no answer.
pursuing, and hopefully in our conversations moving forward this season, we'll figure out why that exists.
Have fun, people. Okay.
Yeah. So Frank, NALCS, we don't have that much time left unless we want to have like a 24
No,
hour
we've got time. It's only been half an hour. We've got time left.
Oh, perfect. We have half an hour left. Frank, NALCS, start us up. What are we talking about? What's relevant? Gives a shit.
How did Link get back into the NALCS after he wrote the Dunzo Manifesto?
All right, hold on. So everything. All right, so NA, in my opinion, is by far the worst region in the world.
By far, he says. You realize that EU and LMS are still around, right?
EU's pretty bad.
EU is pretty bad.
EU's pretty bad, but NA
EU
is
like
worse.
NA is probably worse.
All the stories, we're gonna honestly fucking start off with Link. Like, is that really where you?
So you know what? I saw a really funny article. I think it was on ESPN before they actually had an esports section, and the title of the article was "Pro player quits team, burns every bridge on the way out." I'm like he did. He basically was like, fuck you, you're cool. No, actually, no, you're not cool. Fuck you too. And on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And somehow, he's a pro again. I don't understand how this happened. Like, is he just that good that people are like, doesn't matter if he was like, apparently
Newsflash, Frank, NA is that bad. We had a conversation where we tried to figure out. This was before we heard about Link, by the way. We had a conversation, and we were trying to figure out, okay, what NA mids are there? Because didn't we figure out that like there's only one NA?
Yeah, he's
like
the one.
There's like
not
two.
Like Bjergsen
No, I think
and
there's
Jensen.
two.
There's
because,
Pobelter,
Glue, right?
and who else is there?
Golden
But
Glue.
you're saying like not
Golden Glue,
important.
yeah, he's the only other one.
NA players.
Is
There's
Pobelter?
two.
Pobelter and Golden Glue.
Yeah. So you got those two, and then you sit there and you think for like a couple minutes, and you're like, well, okay, those guys suck. So who would we replace them with? And then you're like, oh my god, there's no one left.
There's no one else.
There's no one left. So
that was so savage.
I mean, what? It's the truth.
Wait, Kai was a mid laner for like a hot second.
Yeah, there you go. He's a mid laner again.
He's a mid laner now. He's on
Whatever.
FlyQuest. There we go. We found the third one.
Yeah, but he's a pro. So, but we're trying to think of like, okay, because Golden Glue, he's not a pro. Like,
Oh my god.
we watched IEM. We all watched IEM. The guy's not a pro. He's not a pro.
Back in the LCS.
Yes. No, but he should not be a pro. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're like, okay, who else can they find? And we couldn't figure anyone out.
Yeah.
And then and of course, so then it's like, yeah, okay, Link. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was like, really? He's like, is he?
He is the best one.
Like, what the fuck?
He is probably today. He is probably the best North American-based mid laner that exists.
I think so. I mean, that's not a good thing. Don't get me wrong, that's not a good thing. But I mean, High's probably better than him. But
So wait, for those out there who don't know what the Dunzo Manifesto is, including myself, somebody explain that to me.
So the Link. Once upon a time, there was this mid laner on CLG called Link, who was pretty good. He was all right, but he was, for lack of a better term, an enormous choke artist. And I think Doublelift probably gave him a little bit of a hard time. And so one day Link just decided he had enough, and he wrote a, no joke, like 30,000 word, like 40-page essay, like diatribe about how awful CLG was and how everyone was trash and the management was trash and the coaches were trash and all the other players were trash and he was great and he did everything right and people just didn't give him a chance.
Dude,
and Doublelift is an enormous asshole.
This
and
is so esports.
you know,
Esports is
basically
really
like
just the
the
Real
scene
Housewives of,
sucks
like,
and
Santa
dude,
Monica.
NA
that's
is
not- you don't even
terrible.
know. Like the everything that the backlash from it was unreal.
It was
Everyone else
unreal.
started writing manifestos.
Like every former
not even
CLG
kidding,
player
dude.
came out of the woodwork and
This
wrote
is
these
so
10,000 word
hardcore. I love
essays.
it.
Yeah, it was
Chowster
amazing.
wrote one that literally began with, "In the beginning, I was a god," like
Yeah.
as an actual reply to this.
Yeah, it
Love me
was
some Reggie.
it was an amazing time.
It was a
It
really
was an
good time to
amazing
be an LCS fan. And I was like, there's no way he ever comes back after writing this. He's just actually done. And, but I'm wrong because here he is. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that because, like, anything is possible
to the
now.
Dardoch jungle thing when people, like, after watching Breaking Point, they're like, why would you work with this kid? But really everybody wants him, including Immortals.
I mean, I think if Liquid
Isn't that similar?
if Liquid could put tape over his mouth, they would take him back too.
It's not similar because Link is not as good as
Not close.
as
Dardoch. But
Dardoch.
isn't it
And-
tapping to the problem that you're talking about how, like, the actual player pool is so
Yes.
small?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think
Would you
that's
say-
one point?
You've
Yeah.
played with him. Would you say that Dardoch is the best North American bass player, period? That's playing right now.
I'd say he's the best, but I don't know if he's the most talented. But and this actually kind of gets to my point. I've never seen anyone. So like Dardoch, he's super toxic. He's all that. But like I've never seen anyone in my life that's wanted to be so good at something as him in League of Legends. Like the guy is obsessed with being great at League of Legends, and so. One thing you can say about him that you can't say about Link, because Link even admitted it in his Dunzo manifesto. Like Dardoch just plays, like he just lives, breathes League of Legends, and Link, he said, like, I just stopped playing, I stopped caring. So like I think that there's a fundamental difference. So I don't think that there's much of an analogy there actually, because of those points that like, Dardoch has attitude problems and all that, and I don't know how skilled he actually is.
He's a
but
killer,
that guy,
though.
Yeah, that guy is obsessed with being the best. He's obsessed with being the best, and so like, that just really manifests in how much he plays, how hard he tries, and how aggressive he plays, everything. And maybe Link can get it back. I don't know. Like, what that was a little before my time. I mean, I did see like him as like his whole pro career, but like when you read his Dunzo manifesto, it's like he was talking like way back in season 1 and shit. So like I wasn't around that.
Yeah. So
but anyways,
what do you want to talk
sorry.
about? You've been last year you were like on your knees for North America, and this year you're like North America sucks. So you tell me, Carlos, what team or
And
players
they
you want to
blows.
talk about. I mean, they do, but give
They
me
fucking blow.
what do you
What do you
care?
want me to say?
What are you gonna? What games? Who are you gonna watch? Who are you interested in? Are you
Should
interested
I
in
read?
anyone?
Should I read the matches this weekend?
Sure, read the matches.
I'll tell you what. I'd rather go on a fucking date with a girl than watch this. Like, that's what I.
Low bar.
That's like a double-edged sword right there.
Yeah. Well. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, I'm interested in C9.
Hang on,
I
I'm gonna bring up the lineups to see what do I care
Yeah, yeah.
about. Let's see.
I think.
Wait, TSM C9, Echo Fox P1.
I'll watch TSM C9 always. It's always good.
Yes.
Wait, but I have a special place in my heart for Phoenix One, even though
I think they're actually.
I
Gonna
think
be
they're
good.
good. I think they will be good. I think they'll make playoffs actually.
I think that they're going to, when the season's over, they'll be the best team in NA.
You think when the
Really?
season is over, Phoenix 1 will be the best team?
I think they'll win Spring Split. Yeah.
Whoa.
holy smoly, okay, that's a
All
statement.
right, now you have to explain that. Because
Arrow,
I
and
remember
are-
last year you thought Arrow was overrated. So have you come around on Arrow or what?
In Korea. Like,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
all right, so this is the analogy that I made. To me, Phoenix One, they're a much better version of Immortals last year. I don't think there's going to be a lot of variance in their playstyle. You know who these players are.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get.
Rio's
but I just
great,
think that
yeah.
they're better than the Immortal players.
Yeah, so you
last
have
year,
Ryu, who is probably top 3 mid NA. You have Adrian, who is the best support in NA. or maybe top 2 if you want to say Afromu.
Afra's probably better.
You have
Yeah,
Arrow,
yeah.
who is probably right now top 3 AD carry in NA at least. You have
Right.
Inori, who's top 3 jungler in NA, and I don't know how I feel about Zig, but he's pretty good.
I think
so-
he's probably the worst top laner in NA, but I mean, we're talking.
Jesus.
I mean, that's a really high threshold. Like we're talking about, like top.
I mean, are there
3.
good top laners in NA?
Yes,
I
Oh
would
my
say
God,
top
yes.
lane. Top lane is actually the only role that NA excels at, other than support.
Yeah, top.
No
is,
way.
Top
Who,
and
like
support are the-
Haunter and what's his name?
Dude, are you kidding me?
Haunter is
No, I'm
legit
not, I'm
like.
asking.
Okay, so
Haunter is
Looper is in NA right now.
Hunter's
Impact-
like
is
4th or
Impact-
5th, dude.
You have
Hunter's
Impact, you have
fifth.
Haunter, you have Looper,
Someday?
you have Someday, you have
Like,
Flame.
fucking kidding me? Like,
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
oh my god. I mean, relative to the other
Seraph
regions,
is
like,
actually
NA
even
pretty
really
stacked
good
at top.
too. Actually, now that I'm looking
I
at it,
mean,
like,
I'll listen.
yeah, actually
I
now
don't
like
agree, but
Lorlo
I'll
is like
listen.
bottom 3 somehow. We've gotten to that. That's crazy. Yeah, top laners in NA
Wait,
are
what do you
stacked.
think? What do you think NA is worse at then? If you think top lane is like one of our biggest strengths.
Well, right
Oh,
now,
AD
AD is definitely.
support. I mean, we're like Wolf. I mean,
Who is the best AD now that Double Lift is gone?
Sneaky,
I don't fucking.
Arrow.
Is it Stixay?
No, it's not Six. I would say Sneaky, maybe.
These are not like.
These are
Oh
not
wait,
like,
no,
wow.
Piglet's still.
Yeah.
Piglet's still in NA.
Daft
Piglet, yeah, Piglet. All right. I mean, but that's my point, right? And then I think that Frank's right that Adrian's top 2 support NA, and that's not a good thing, by the way. Like, I'm not saying that, like, wow, like these guys are going.
I mean, I think Adrian is
impressed.
solid. Like, he wouldn't be elite in other regions, but he's like, he's not.
like all right.
He's
Like,
all right.
But he's like.
Carlos isn't saying he's
Well,
bad.
what-
Carlos is
dude,
saying
like,
the fact that Adrian is leading.
We've
the
got
charge
who
is
we've
a
got.
problem.
Yes.
I mean, you know that
Yes.
I'm like a huge Ole fanboy, but I don't know how well he's gonna do. Like, he was playing in LMS. I don't know.
He didn't look very good. He didn't look very good at IEM.
No, he
Granted,
didn't.
Wait,
he'd only been there
let's
for a couple
take a
days.
quick side note. Do you think 80 carries are just garbage this patch? What's your expectation for 80 carries in NA, especially now that we've declared that 80 is probably the weakest point in NA right
Pick
now?
CC or suck.
The pick
I don't
six
know.
and-
I don't know what to do about AD. I mean, I was thinking about this. Maybe a new armor penetration item. I cannot think of like how to fix AD.
You know, I actually think that this is a good opportunity for Riot to holistically examine the relationship between marksman and bot lane, because there are plenty of other MOBAs and there is no other game where it's so tied that you have to put a marksman in a specific place on the map. This is the only game where it's like that. They've pigeonholed themselves into it. Double mage lanes are common in every other game, and they're usually kill lanes. Why is that not a good thing? And then like there are marksman type heroes in other games. Where do they fit in? Like, Riot should look outside of League of Legends and say, where can we take inspiration from to actually make these characters relevant? Because the only ones that are good are the ones that have utilities. The ones that can just auto attack, they take too long to come online, so they're just not useful. So like they really need to look at holistically, like what is the power curve supposed to look like for these champions? Because most of them it's like slow ramp because they just don't do anything early game.
Isn't that what's happening right now?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like
Yeah.
they need to figure out what do they actually want to do with that class, because
So you're expecting a lot of Ashe, a lot of Varus, a lot of Ziggs.
so
in the
this
bot
is
lane
the
this
first time that
weekend?
this is the
Yes.
first time ever I feel comfortable saying this. I would not be surprised if a year from now there were as many mages in the bot lane as marksmen, because
I mean, that's what it looks like.
that's what it looks like it's going. And it's like, I remember, like, you guys know, I'm a huge fan of double mage bot. I'm surprised that it hasn't been done more often, and I think that it's actually coming. Like, you will see double
Yeah.
mage bot lane in pro play at some point
It's
this
fine.
year.
I think Jhin and Caitlyn are viable, but that's because they play like spellcasters, right? They have crowd control and
I think
hyper.
Jhin more than
I'm not
Caitlyn.
sure about Caitlyn.
Yeah, I think Jhin more than
yes.
Kate, because Jhin has stun, he
yeah.
has CC, but I actually think that Ashe and Varus are better than Jhin right now.
Yeah, Ashe. I think it would be Ashe, Varus, Jhin.
I would just play
Ezreal.
Cassiopeia. It seems way better than everything else.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I see
Like,
Cassiopeia,
Cassiopeia
Malzahar,
seems way better than
Ziggs,
80K.
Kennen, all bot lane because they have CC. And, like...
Pick like a Vigar, and Vigar just deletes the opposing AD carry, and then
No, I mean, like, I've been running...
You know what I mean?
I've been running
yeah,
any...
it's
I've been
fine.
running...
Vigar Bard. Vigar Poppy knocks them into the stun. There, I figured.
I mean,
it
you
out.
can just
got
run...
into the wall.
You can run
Yeah.
stuff like Annie, Syndra bot lane and dunk 80 carries, because what are they supposed to do about that if you flash
Leon
on
Zyra,
them?
that's what I do.
Or, yeah, like... I mean, seriously, you will see stuff like that because it's like, well...
I hope so.
How could you ever survive with a Vayne bot lane in this meta? It's just not possible. She's
Look at
like,
Graves. He went to the jungle. He's like, I'm out. That was a long season.
Yeah.
ago. But
No,
Corky's
you can
in
see
the
stuff
mid
like that.
lane.
I mean,
I'm out of here.
I think it's more of a meme than a real thing. Because I think like you guys are talking about, you know, having not only marksmen solely in the bot lane is a good thing. It's interesting. You know,
I actually think that picking an 80k right now is trolling. Like, I feel like you're so
it's
useless.
not that bad. Come on, man.
I think it's really bad. Like, how many times have you seen like an 80 carry go 10-1 and you lost a solo queue game? How many times did
Yeah.
you see mid lane Katarina go 10-1 and you lost that game?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what
That's
I mean?
actually
Like,
true.
Katarina
is.
goes 10-1. The game's just over. Fucking Vayne goes 10-1. Oh, it's fine. We can take care of that.
I mean, so then it sounds to me, and I agree with this. The point that's being made is that the assassin rework just really completely changed the game.
Yes, it did.
Or,
Absolutely.
Or, like, I mean, look at it. Also, it's true for top lane too. How many times have you lost because Riven was 5-0 or Fiora was 3-0?
Yeah.
You know,
or
what I mean?
Camille was
No.
5-0.
Camille,
You're right.
hello.
You're right. They'll find a way to fix it.
So
I mean,
this is what I would want them to look into. Like, even though they're not like this second, but Quinn and
Wait.
Graves have found
Okay.
success outside of bot lane as marksmen. Like, look at that for inspiration. Like, you can design champions that are marksman types that don't have to go bot lane. Like,
There's
How
a
do you
really
do that?
funny video of I'm a cutie pie going 10-5 on Caitlyn, dueling 1-7 Maokai and losing. He's like, get this beast of a man off of me.
yeah, actually, I saw this really funny video where it was someone.
What is the 1-7 Maokai doing to me?
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I think I wanted to say it was Sneaky or someone else, but just like firing shot after shot after shot into all these tanks, and then eventually losing a team fight, despite the fact that they're like full autoing while they're like 7-1 in a game. But because all these tanks, they can't actually kill them. It's like I don't know.
maybe the issue is also lethality. I don't like
Lethality.
lethality.
I think a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
people
trash.
smarter than me about stats are saying lethality's not good, so I take their word for it.
Yeah.
But even Riot is saying that they need to rework lethality at this point, so they
Yeah,
probably do.
Yeah. So I mean, they'll do something about that.
Yeah.
Can't you? I don't know if this. Tell me, you Frank, you know the rules better than me. Can teams change roles within their roster?
Yes.
Like, could Bjergsen
Yes.
like
Yes.
go in the bot lane if you wanted
Yes.
to?
Yes.
And teams have done it.
Yes.
Fnatic does it old Fnatic used to do it once per split. They would always have
Yellow Star go.
Yellow Star go top and Soaz go
yeah.
support. They would do that
Yeah.
literally once a split.
Well, yeah, and TSM used to do it with Reggie.
yeah,
every once
Reggie
in a
and
while,
Dyrus
and
would swap
Dyrus.
sometimes
They would
too.
switch.
I feel
Dyrus-
like if you put Bjergsen on Cass and put him in bot lane, you would just snowball the game so
You do mean
hard that way.
Cassiopeia, not
That's a good idea.
Cassidin, right?
Yeah, like if you go Bjergsen and Biofrost in bot lane, like I feel like you could get so fast.
And you know what's
so
crazy about that?
Holy
Wild
shit.
Turtle used to play mid,
Yo,
so you could
I
actually
fucking
do
love
it.
that idea. That idea is a
Right?
touchdown, yo. That
Yeah.
is
Like-
fucking dope.
Someone get
Oh
Reggie
my
on the
God.
phone. Yeah, it's
Put
great.
like Biofrost on Thresh, who he's really good at,
Dude,
and then
holy
put like
shit.
what's his face on Cassiopeia, like
Put
That's
Bjergsen
what
on
you
Cassio
do.
and put
one
Wild
of them
Turtle
takes
mid.
Ignite,
Alright.
the other one takes exhaust. Like, fuck heal. Who
Reggie,
needs
that one's
You know,
free.
like-
Block out this part of the erase this part of the podcast and just start pitching it to TSM.
Like,
Oh
I
my-
honestly, like, who's
Yes.
there to carry? Wild Turtle? Put him on, like, Tristana mid lane or something.
No,
You know what I
he
mean?
used
Like,
to play mid.
the
He
guy's
can play
good at-
mages, so you don't even need to do that.
Put him on Corki. He'll do well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, oh,
this is how
God.
you do it. Yeah.
you did it, dude. You fucking
You
did
broke it.
Gaston.
You broke
You
it.
saved NA. Gaston saved NA. I'm fucking telling you.
You know
Holy
what?
shit.
This
Despite
is
the fact
oh my
that-
god, if this actually becomes meta, I would feel like people owe me millions
Despite
of
the
dollars.
fact that NA is kind of trash, I do think that this is the closest that NA has ever been. I think that like 1 to 8, any of them could like finish top 3.
Yes. I mean, some of our friends, a lot of people apparently are really high on Dignitas. I'm not.
I'm not either, but who knows?
I think they're like a middle tier team, but like some people are like saying that that they expect them to win NA. I just don't see that. But
I mean, Keen Laud
yeah,
next special is not great, but I mean, some days and Chaser are great, so who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
How bad is Someday gonna feel on that team, man? That's like, he's.
Oh my god. I know. Well,
Well,
at least he has a Korean jungler. You'll just tell him to camp him.
yeah, it's gonna be like Huni Rainover all over again. Just camp
Yeah.
top. I don't know.
What do you think? What do you guys think of FlyQuest,
I think it's the.
aka Cloud9?
So I was gonna say it's like one of the dumbest names, but we've had like BBQ Otters and like.
Hey, fuck you! Fuck, that team is dope.
And we've also had
dope.
Dad Slammers and
I'm asking. I'm not
Dude,
asking for
what
names.
the fuck are you doing? Why
I'm
are you?
asking about their worth as a team.
Oh my god! All right, well, Frank is trying to tilt me right now. Like, fucking some of the best team names ever.
Boba
he's, like, taking
Marines?
a dump on right now.
What
Dad
do you guys think of
Slammers, dude.
Cloud9 squared?
Yeah,
going
okay,
into
I'm
for
sorry.
FlyQuest?
all right.
Do we think they're
FlyQuest
competitive?
is
Not really.
FlyQuest
Yeah.
is probably gonna be really bad.
Really bad. Holy.
Well, so actually,
They're a bunch. I'm sorry. I love that team. They were the best in NA for a long time. It's a bunch of washed up Cloud9 players, man. Like,
Do you
what do
think
you
High
want?
is just over it? Like, do you think High got told that he's
So
going
so
back
I
to
don't
LCS
know.
and
I
just
don't
went,
know
"Oh."
about High now, but I know so long High is just like they won't let me quit. I want to quit. But I
Is
don't
he
know.
just,
Maybe
like,
that's
not
changed.
again?
Maybe that's changed now. I don't know.
wow. All right, well, I guess it's my turn on FlyQuest. I think they're gonna end up middle of the pack. I think they're gonna be like 5th.
Who's worse than that team?
Huh?
You can find
Who's worse than that team?
Worse?
I'll find you.
Yeah.
I can find you worse.
Echo Fox
CLG.
probably worse.
Echo
CLG, you
Fox
think is worse?
Okay,
I think
Echo.
at the end of the
I'll give you
season,
Echo Fox and CLG. Yeah, that's
Wait, you guys think
Envy.
CLG's not good?
CLG is probably
No, I
not
don't think
good.
No, I
I
don't
mean,
think
it's the same lineup, right? I can't load it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
exactly.
It's the same lineup.
You think
exactly.
You did
You
it.
think that's the problem? Got it.
Envy,
Yeah.
Liquid
All
are
right.
not good.
You convince
Liquid are
me.
not
You
good.
convince me. Yeah, middle of the pack.
They have Rainover though. You can't lose with Rainover, right? That's the idea.
I don't know. I saw them lose pretty handily.
They
Oh
just-
no, you're right. Yeah, no, they're gonna have the monster solo lanes of fucking Lorlo and Golden Blue or Link.
No, Link. We've made it
Oh,
back.
Link.
Savage.
You know what? Actually, I do want to see Contracts play because people said that he's really good. It's going to
I
be his
think
first
Contracts
time
is
playing
gas.
in the
I think
LCS.
He's like lit.
Yeah,
So
yeah. He's
I'm
dope.
excited to see him.
Do you think? So you think Cloud9 is gonna be great?
I think Cloud9 will
think-
finish top 3 for sure. If
Yeah, I
not,
think
if
so.
not
So
top
who's
2.
your top 3 before the season even starts?
Cloud9, TSM, and then I don't know, man. Not Immortals. It might actually be Phoenix One. They do look very strong.
Yeah, for me it would be Cloud9, Phoenix One, and TSM in that order at the start of the split. Yeah.
All right, I'm listening.
But anyways, yeah. I'm pretty high on FlyQuest. I mean, they're a bunch of old dudes and all that, but like you also have to remember that they were what?
They
Ranked
made
second in NA
Yeah,
in spring split.
they
with
made
that lineup?
every single
Like,
world that they are eligible for, like
Yeah,
since
they'll-
season
you know,
3.
they'll just be-
So
they'll
yeah,
just be
you're
middle of
right.
the pack
They'll be
team.
all right.
I think at worst they'll be 8th, which is pretty bad. But yeah.
They won't get relegated.
TSM, they're like, I don't know, they're whatever. I'm not super high on them.
Why?
I-
Wait, I feel like everybody should be super high on them.
On TSM, why?
I mean, I don't. They were.
Did you watch
They
Worlds?
like barely changed since last season, and like
Oh,
last
I
season
mean,
they were like
all right,
unbeatable.
well, First of all, Biofrost is a trash can. so
Jeez!
Whoa!
Whoa!
I can't believe that the NA hype video ends with that fucking trash can walking off.
Oh
into the
my
sunset.
God,
that's
there it is.
unbelievable. That's fucking like
Oh.
that's sacrilege.
You
I
realize
mean, he was getting.
Isn't
so
he the
okay,
reigning rookie of the
He was a
split?
fucking double lift bot. Like that's why like that's why like they were so successful last split. He just blindly did whatever double lift said. What's he gonna do now with Wild Turtle? Like Wild Turtle's like, all right guys, let's go in. Like, okay, like watch, they're gonna be really bad.
So what you're saying is that Biofrost got microed like.
Not if Bjergsen
Yes.
goes.
So Double Lift learned to micro people like
he
Chowster
could be a
microed
really
him.
good Bjergsen bot.
Yeah,
Bjergsen's really good at telling people how to get him fed.
that's
Yeah,
true.
no. I agree with you, Frank. Yes, he was being microed, and I mean I have it on good.
Have it on good
I-
authority.
Even on good authority, that's actually what was happening too. But I already had my suspicions that that's what was happening, anyways.
All right. Do we have anything
You
else?
sound like disappointed that TSM's like by default one of the better teams.
Because NA is garbage. Because TSM got destroyed in Worlds, and they're like the second best team in North America.
Yeah,
And they got worse.
They got worse. They got worse. Like, oh my god, how heartbreaking is this? They got worse. And people are, and like in the
And they're gonna be
previous
top
teams,
two.
They have them
Wild Turtle is listening to this in tears. He's like, "Wow, tell me more."
Well, I already told you what to do with Wild Turtle. He needs to play top lane. Like he
should.
give up on
Wild
it.
Turtle would be a
Wild
great
Turtle go
top
mid,
laner.
Bjergsen go bot.
Ding, ding.
My
Yes, yes.
Yeah. All right. Should we close
Right
out the
here,
show? We're running out of steam.
All right, talk to me. Do we have any last important pieces of wisdom that people need to bestow?
You know, I had Challenger on here, but I just don't even want to talk about it anymore because I don't
about
care.
what?
Challenger. You know what? Actually, I want to say one thing. Mad Life is in North American Challenger.
Yo!
A challenger.
And not just that, he fucking gave like the dopest story already. That Faker story. Oh
Wait,
my
which
God.
one? No,
Wait,
I
what
don't
are you
know
talking about?
this.
I
You
don't know
need
what
to
you're
tell
talking
this. I don't
You don't know
this
the
one.
Faker story? Oh my God! All
Wait,
right,
hold
so
on, no.
like his first interview or whatever, he's talking about like when he used to play with Faker.
When is this? This is when?
Like a few weeks
I don't know,
ago.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And so he's talking about how when he used to play with Faker and like how it was very surreal for him because whenever he would play with him, like Faker would just because they would be on voice comps and Faker would be like, "Okay, he's dead," and then like Faker and then Mad Life would be like, "Wait, he's not dead. What are you talking about?" And then like 6 seconds later, he'd be dead.
Oh my God.
And he was like calling his shots on fucking comms.
That's great.
I told my friends, dude, if Mad Life, if anything, if he just provides stories like that, like he will be the best import ever.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I love stories like that.
Oh my
like
God.
one of my favorite NA stories was
That's probably where Impact got the top die thing from. Then if it
Probably, yeah, actually. Yeah, that's
Face
like
Faker,
one of my
dude.
favorite NA stories was the like this Cloud9 in the Gauntlet where Lemonation's like, "What do you think? I think Lulu good here," and it's like, "No, I'm playing Yasuo," and then
Right.
just dunked on people.
Just
So like
auto-lock.
I love anecdotes like that. That's better
Yeah.
than any esports article would be. I just want to hear about anecdotes from the pro scene forever because they're so good all the time. Like
because when you see the people and I guess we're somehow circling back to the beginning conversation.
I know that was
but
not
I'll get
intentional.
back. Yeah, when you get people like to be honest and real, that's like when they're the most entertaining, right? Like when you see Sneaky on his stream and then you watch him in interviews, you're like, oh my God, like who is this person, right? It's because like they're just uncomfortable, so you have to find ways to make them comfortable.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I totally agree with you, Frank. Those anecdotes are fucking great. Like we need more of those.
Yeah.
All
right.
All right.
Are we good with anybody
We're
else
good.
have any closing thoughts
I'm
on
out,
NA?
I'm out.
Well, I'm actually going to be at the NALCS arena, so I'm excited to see the games. Fuck all the haters. It's going to be lit.
Well, fuck you too. A game tomorrow will be good, I guess. We'll get to find out if Contracts is for real.
Yeah, I hope so.
Tomorrow we'll see if contract is the real deal. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Thank you out there for listening to us. If you have any questions or anything you want to add to the NALCS, to whether Biofrost is God or not, or to the worth of esports as an industry at all, please hit us up on Twitter or social media or wherever it be and engage in our conversation with us. Who knows? We may even have your questions on the show or something if they're good enough.
Yeah.
So for all of you out there, Carlos, thank you for coming on the show. You're always
Thanks.
welcome. I'm
Thank you.
Gaston,
I'm Frank.
and we're Shotcallers.
Bye.